Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jessica Samawi, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about my personal statement. I will be explaining the 4 paragraphs that consisted of my personal statement. Also, before we begin, this is just a disclaimer. Please just take the ideas that I'm talking about, try not to plagiarize, because I will be stating some parts of my personal statement, just like some concluding sentences so it can kind of sum up the idea of each paragraph. Also, down below, I made a Google form. One of my close family friends, Marina, she actually helped me and a bunch of other people with their personal statements, and she's actually willing to do some Zoom calls with you guys if you guys are interested and need some help. I know during this time of coronavirus and whatnot, a lot of us are unable to go to writing centers or go to our universities or even meet up with friends to get their opinions about, your personal statement and what you need to improve on. So this is a great opportunity. If you guys are interested, just fill out the Google form down below. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so let's go into depth about the 4 paragraphs that my personal statement consisted of. So in my first paragraph, I talked about how I was on stage about to perform in front of the largest crowd I've ever performed in front of. I then related it to how I never wanted to be put into one kind of category. Growing up, I always played a lot of music and people kind of expected me to pursue my musical endeavors. But little did they know that I actually wanted to pursue dentistry. So in this first paragraph, I kind of talked about music and I gave a specific anecdote about, a particular time when I was performing with music. And then I kind of connected that to how, growing up, I used my hands to play the piano and the violin. And I kind of compared that to how, dentistry, I'm constantly using my hands, I'm using instruments and tools to, directly impact patients instead of indirectly helping people through my music. So I kind of explained why I chose dentistry also in this, but I gave just a little reason why, because then I kind of go more in depth later on. I then ended the paragraph by stating the versatility of skills that I have grasped through music has become a prominent dexterity for dentistry. So now let's go more in depth about how you can kind of apply what I did to your own personal statement. So maybe you can start with some sort of anecdote. In my opinion, I feel like that's always a good way to start. And kind of it gives you a taste of who you are and your experiences. And that's kind of what you want to be doing throughout this whole personal statement. You kind of want to be kind of showing them that you worked very hard to figure out if dentistry truly was for you, and give them actual experiences that you went through to kind of prove that this is what you want to do for the rest of your life. Maybe talk about how your journey came to mind. How did you get to this point, and what was your inspiration? So that's definitely something to keep in mind. So let's move on to my second paragraph. In this paragraph, I basically went in depth about a specific experience that I went through when I was first shadowing one of my close family friends who is a dentist. From this experience, that was what drove my passion for dentistry. So I went in descriptive detail about exactly what happened and how this dentist basically inspired me to want more out of this career path. And it made me want to start looking into finding a dental assisting job, because I wanted to be more hands-on, and I wanted to help out the dentist instead of just looking from behind them, So I feel throughout this personal statement, you have to keep in mind, you want to just give experiences that really were the highlights of the past few years, and explain why you want this. Explain what were the most prominent moments that made you think, wow, dentistry is what I want because of this experience, or because that's most of the time, that's the reason why we're pursuing this career. So explain that, show that in your personal statement, give those memories and those moments that were truly light bulb moments, wow, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. That's what they want to hear. And that's what makes you unique, because everyone's experience is going to be different. So basically, you are going to be giving the admissions, these big moments that kind of drove you to get to this point in your, career, which is applying to dental school, writing your personal statement. So this is a big moment for you. So, show that in your personal statement. So next, in my third paragraph, I explained my takeaway from these experiences. I went through and I explained how I got a dental assisting job and how that through this job, I experienced this and this. And I kind of went in depth about how the dentist I worked for and the staff really inspired me to want more out of like the business aspect of dentistry as well. And the dentist has to control every aspect of this clinic, so I kind of went in depth about my experience as a dental assistant. So that was like my third paragraph. There was a part in this paragraph that I did go back to my main theme, which was music. I talked about how when I was dental assisting and trading off instruments with the dentist when I was a dental assistant, it reminded me of like memories of when I played the violin. So I stated how dental assisting brought back memories of when I was first learning to play the violin, and how the natural rhythmic flow of me passing the dental instruments to the dentist like reminded me of that moment. So it's like little things like that, bringing back the main theme of like what your personal statement is about that you should kind of throw in here and there throughout. So just showing them that you have done so much dental experience, that's like basically what the admissions wants to see. I remember when I actually talked to a dean from one of the dental schools I applied to, they asked me in like some of my interview questions, like, what experiences do you have? And they went in depth. So let's say I talked about dental assisting in my application, they are going to ask you questions about like, hey, I saw that you were a dental assistant. How did you feel about this? Or did you experience this? And like, they're going to be asking you questions. So be honest throughout this paper. You want to have a bunch of like experience under your belt so that you can explain it when you go to an interview or whatnot. So this personal statement is reflecting who you are. You're telling your story. So make sure you keep that in mind when you are writing this paper as well. And then in the last paragraph, this fourth paragraph, just to wrap up, I then ended my personal statement by talking about my plans for the coming year, how I will be presenting my research at Clinic and Research Day, and also I talked about how I was the vice president of the Pre-Dental Club and how I founded an organization all throughout this coming year. And then in the last sentence, I stated, all these experiences have given me the interchangeable skills that I know will be applicable to a successful career in dentistry. So just to kind of sum up, I know this is probably a lot of information to take in, but the takeaway from these 4 paragraphs that I just stated with you is that you should be giving your own personal experiences. I can go in depth and read my whole personal statement, but these are my experiences. So you should go be descriptive, explain exactly what went on in like a certain anecdote, be concise, have a recognizable theme, add color to who you are. Explain with description why you want to be a dentist, because that is like a huge thing that admissions are going to be looking for is, are you even answering the question, why dentistry? Explain how this training is going to help you in the future and get you to where you want to be. You have to be authentic, be genuine, this is your story. Explain it and like go in depth about it. I think the biggest thing is just not to go and talk about anything that is on your application already. This is a time to be unique. This is where you want to kind of brag about yourself and, show them, hey, this is what you're missing out if you don't give me an interview or accept me to your dental school. So show them that, hey, like I'm an awesome candidate and give me a chance. Through these experiences, I think I have enough experience under my belt to be a great candidate in your class. So keep that in mind. So some other tips. Have people that you don't know read because they have like an unbiased opinion of you. Keep your thoughts organized and make sure that you're answering the prompt, why dentistry. Write an outline and make sure you're answering the who, what, and the why. Writing centers. I know due to coronavirus, no writing centers are probably open. Maybe through an online service, I'm not sure though. So let's ask the question, was the writing center helpful for me? Personally, when I went in to ask for help, but I do recommend going there to help with grammatical errors that you may have, or just like helping you rephrase sentences. A big thing is when I went into the writing center, they told me that I wasn't truly answering the question, why dentistry? I was kind of beating around the bush. So that was a wake-up call, and I was like, okay, maybe I should go sit down and rethink my whole process of how I wrote this paper. And I think at first my biggest mistake was I was trying to incorporate way too much music, and like I was trying to have the theme be in every paragraph, but that's not even the case. You could just touch on the theme in like certain parts of the paper, but you don't have to like bring it in every paragraph, You only have a minimum amount of words. I want to end off with telling you guys an experience. I actually went to the 2019 ADEA Go Dental recruitment event. This is where basically nearly all dental admissions people come to this specific event so that future dental students can come and see what kind of school is best for their stats and whatnot. So actually at that event, they gave tips on personal statements, and they even went through a whole practice interview. So you should definitely try to go to this event in the future if you have time, or if you're in Chicago as well. I think they do switch it. It's not always in Chicago every year, so keep that in mind. I will list down their Instagram down below if you want to check out their page. So some of the questions that they told us we should be answering throughout our personal statements, including the following. The details of their personal statement are not in the application already. While they're reading their personal statement, they get excited and they look forward to interviewing this person. In their head, when they're reading your paper, they want to say, wow, like I really want to meet this person. So that's when they're really going to want to interview from you. So if you are captivating them through your personal statement, who knows, maybe they'll give you an interview. So keep that in mind. The personal statement is a huge part of your application. Really try and put as much effort as you can into this part of the application. Another thing, they want to see that you're truly passionate about this and that everything you've done matches up with what they see on your application, as well as the letters of recommendations that your recommenders are giving also matches up with the rest of your application and what you're stating in your personal statement. They said that the biggest thing they want to see is that you are answering this question, why dentistry? And the biggest thing that I can tell you guys is that when you're answering this question, the easiest way to answer this question is by explaining your own experiences inside of your personal statement. I basically gave 2 instances of like what I experienced at the dental clinic and giving specific patients that, impacted my vision of like why I want this career path. So really think about that when you are writing this personal statement. And then lastly, I know I did mention this in my last video. I also brought up this book. So it's your Essential Guide to Dental School Admissions, 30 Successful Application Essays and Collective Wisdom from Your Young Dentist. This is by Dr. Yang. As I stated before, she actually came to one of my events and spoke about this book. I will leave it down below. It's 30 essays that you can read and kind of get your own opinions from. I think it's $10 to buy the ebook. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content. Leave some comments down below if you guys have any requests for some videos. You can also follow me on Instagram and DM me. I'm open to answering any of your questions about the application or your personal statements. So just let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next.